And Freedom Studies 101 looks carefully at just the political theory behind the ideals of freedom found in the writings of our founders. So examining the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, the Federalist Papers, and just how our founders thought about liberty. So it's just our introduction to themes about liberty. But then we also have two upper division classes we're offering, one on the nature of freedom and economics on the one hand, and then we have another really interesting class about the nature of liberty and foreign policy. And that's looking at how do you ensure that you can have a robust foreign policy where you're engaged in the world, but without sacrificing the liberty of your citizens at home. And so it's kind of a freedom and empire class, and that'll be taught by one of our fantastic postdoc students who's wrapping up his PhD at Hillsdale right now.
That's amazing. I would love for anyone who stays on at the State Department, I feel like they need to audit your class or at least get clips, especially because I actually saw this firsthand. You had representatives of the United States of America at international negotiations purportedly representing U.S. interests, but somewhere along the way, they've lost sight of that. And instead of representing what makes this country so great, they're either apologizing for it or they're ignoring it or not voicing it to the detriment of our country, just incrementally. And that happens, let's say it happens 1,000 times a year through these various negotiations. That's probably an understatement in terms of points of contact with other international representatives. But understanding the ability to not forego freedom and liberty in international negotiations. I just think that that could really change the face of certainly U.S. standing, but how we come out on the tail end of various deals or even national perception.
Yeah, I think what it shows in part is that there are a lot of public officials who maybe are good at saying a slogan or throwing out a word, but they really have never taken the time to deeply think about and study just the nature of American freedom. I mean, it's a word we say a lot, but that we don't take time to think about. And I think if we had officials that really appreciate the nature of freedom, it'd be harder for them to just get boulderdized into these sort of bad ways of thinking that lead to us getting into all sorts of trouble and abandoning our own traditions. So the more we study and think about these things in a critical way, in a deep and informed way, I just think we'll be much better as a country going forward.
Is the characteristic of students who are coming in and getting the freedom studies, are they also, can they major in that? It's a minor. And does that tend to coincide with interest in public policy or communications? What is the other, generally speaking, the characteristic of the educational curriculum that they're pursuing?
Right. Yeah. Well, right now it's a freedom studies minor. And so it's the kind of thing that students add on to whatever they're committed to as a major. And right now, there's not really a consistent pattern among our students. I would say we have a number of students who are interested in public policy. We have a number of students who are coming from business. We also have a number of students who are in applied sciences, so in criminal justice and things like that. So there's not really one group of students. We've got a kind of an equal distribution of a lot of different kind of students, which I love. I'm a professor of philosophy, and if anything else, philosophy is defined by debate, discussions, putting everything on the table. Nothing is off limits for what we can talk about. And a big thing of what I'm trying to do here at the Declaration Center is making sure that students, conservative students of all different stripes, have an opportunity to have these deep and fundamental debates about, what we should be thinking of in terms of policy, but also in terms of who we are as a people and what it means to be an American, and what, like I said, what liberty and freedom really mean. And I love having a different mix of students so we can have a wide-ranging debate and discussion about these things.
Yeah, I can imagine that it gets really interesting having that diversity of perspectives and goals in the room, having a debate, the return to debate. What a noble cause you were after, sir. Glad you're bringing that back with the students. I do want to touch on this, the outcome of the election with President Trump. I think he shifted the traditional approach and dynamics of where colleges and students in particular are. You have this, generally speaking, present company excluded, but more older liberal professors with a growing conservative younger class of students. How do you see that playing out, either on campus at Ole Miss, or just, I know you pay attention to these national trends. How do you see that actually playing out in the academic setting?
Well, I think it's going to play out differently at different institutions. I would expect that private institutions will probably take one sort of course. I'm hoping and I'm optimistic that public universities are going to respond to this in a different way. And in particular, I really think what you're going to see is that public universities are going to make a point of encouraging debate and making sure that multiple points of view are allowed and even promoted. I think that's one of the things among my students that they're the most excited about. It's not that they're going to be surrounded by people who agree with them. It's that they won't get in trouble for just being a part of a conversation. And I really think public universities are going to be celebrating that more than they were in the past. At least that's my hope.
Yeah, I hope so too, and that all views and perspectives are welcome, even the conservative ones that have been pushed down for so long. Well, Professor Skultety, thank you so much for joining us, providing your insights. For folks, really quick, where can they follow what's going on at the center?
Yeah, send us an email at freedom@olemiss.edu, and we'll add you to our email list, or you can always check our website at independence.olemiss.edu.
All right, stay tuned. We've got to take a quick break, but much more